When you hear the words Wii Sports Resort speedrunning, you may think of categories such as 18-hole, all sports, or maybe even all pro or all stamps. These are the main categories and they are very good, but some of the best categories in Wii Sports Resort and just speedrunning as a whole are category extensions. Category extensions are speedruns which are too miscellaneous to be on the main board, but still ran enough and appreciated enough to exist and thrive. You can see these in games like Wii Sports, Super Mario Bros., but most importantly, Wii Sports Resort. And deep hidden into these categories, you'll find one of the best categories in all of speedrunning, and that is opponents. When one game of pickup game, one game of table tennis, one game of speed slice, and finally one game of duel. In the opponent speedrun, you'll need to set up your Mii first to get rid of tutorials and just get the best opponent to go against. In order to do this optimally, you'll need to lose one game against Miguel. Miguel is the lowest level opponent in basketball and is the easiest to win against. Table tennis is the only game where you do not want to set up your Mii before playing in it, due to the fact that there is not a tutorial, and the level 0 opponent has a strategy that you can use to win extremely fast. In Speed Slice, you want to win with as little or as much points as you want. If you win with more points, you'll get a faster but harder opponent to win against. You must win perfectly against your opponent in order to get an optimal Speed Slice, and just win as much points as you feel comfortable winning perfectly without pause buffering. For Duel, you want to win once, tie, lose in the first 3 rounds, and then win the tiebreaker against Ryan. The more you block, the less points you'll get, and the higher chance you'll go against Fumiko. Or you could go against Ryan, while still not having the tutorial. Fumiko is faster, but Ryan still doesn't lose that much time. None of this is to even starting the run yet. That just shows you how complex this run is. You can do the games in any order, but in my case, we're going to be starting with basketball. For basketball, at the very start, you want to score a 2-pointer, or somewhere during the game, you want to score a 2-pointer. This will be the any time anyone on the court will score, because you must win against the CPU. After you score, the CPU will get the ball. You want to steal the ball from the CPU as fast as possible, because every action that happens before there's a minute left on the in-game timer will make the in-game timer go down 10 seconds, which will save you time. Once you get the ball, you want to do jumpless towards the CPU. Jumpless is a strategy to throw the basketball without jumping and throw it lower. To do this, you want to hold your Wii Remote flat and down. Press B to pick up the ball. As you're holding B, flick your wrist right and up, and once it's facing up, let go of B. Once you have 1 minute left in the game, you just want to pass the ball to yourself until the shot clock gets to 1. Whenever it gets to that time, you want to shoot the ball as high as possible to waste the most time on the in-game timer. Once the timer runs out, you can quit out of basketball and head to the next sport. Personally, I do Speed Slice next because it's the second hardest sport for me, but you can do whatever sport you want. For Speed Slice, there isn't many advanced strategies you need to do. All you have to do is win against your opponent perfectly without losing any points. If you're not confident with this, you can do pause buffering, which will allow you to look at the arrow to know which direction you want to hit before hitting the object. You can leave Speed Slice after the words finish show up. Next, I do table tennis. In table tennis, you'll always want to be playing against Cole. And only against Cole is a strategy that you can do very quickly to win, called Cole Strap. To do this, what you want to do on the first and fifth serve is aim to the left. Whenever you serve and the ball is at its lowest point, curve it 180 degrees upwards. This will cause Cole to not respond to the hit, giving you the point. You'll do the same technique on the second and sixth serve, but instead of aiming left, you'll aim right. On the third and fourth serve, Cole actually serves, so you just want to hit the ball to the other side of the table. The first frame after it hits the table once. After the sixth serve says second bounce or any other indicator of you winning, you can quit out of table tennis and head to your last sport, in this case, duel. The strategy that you want to do in duel depends on which CPU you are playing against. If you're playing against Ryan, you want to hit horizontally against him. If you're playing against Fumiko, you'll want to hit vertically. Once you hit the CPU off the arena the second time, you can exit out of duel, the last sport that you'll be doing this run, in my case, where you end time and when the exit rule is met on the last sport that you play. The first run was done on November 12th, 2018 by Commander with a 621. He does the games in order, which loses him some time, but his duel and his speed slice were very clean, not giving up a point in either. Basketball started off good, until around 102 on the in-game timer where he gave up a 3-pointer. Although he could get back in the lead immediately, he finished his basketball strong. Although he did miss menu on his way to table tennis, his table tennis was alright. He did do the slower version of Cole Strat where the ball hits the ground and not the table on the second bounce. Simrax 98 was next, with a 613 done on February 6th, 2019. He did speed slice first this time, going against Fumiko, not giving up a single point. Next was duel, going against Fumiko once again. He did get blocked a couple times, but still finished pretty fast. Going to basketball, Megan did dunk on him at the beginning, but he was able to get back in the lead pretty fast. A little too much, actually, because he had 2 extra points going into the last minute. No points were obtained after that. Lastly was table tennis, doing the same thing as Commander, slow but the reliable full strat. On that same day, Commander came back and got the record with the first sub 6 of 5:45, doing table tennis first this time. Yet again, doing the slower version of Cole Strat. Next was duel, getting 1 or 2 blocks, still really fast. Speed slice was next, getting a perfect speed slice, although he did pause a couple of times in the last match to guarantee a win against Ryan that round. Lastly was basketball, where he got 6 extra points, but it was still fast enough to beat the record by 28 seconds. Next, Simrax 98 came back once again for his final time of 5:44, beating the record by only 1 second on March 2nd, 2019. His first 2 sports were the same as his old record, but he switched the order of the last 2 sports, so table tennis was next. He did the same thing as before, so lastly, it was basketball, which he only got 2 extra points, but had faster steals, which allowed him to save time more efficiently. The next run was achieved on October 30th, 2019, which was a 5:31 by Bender's RS, in which he did the same route as Simrax, but this time, way better execution. And he also had the implementation of the faster Cole Strat, where he had 2 bounces on the table instead of having the second bounce on the ground. The next record was a 5:28 by GABBA. In this run, he had a great speed slice and a great duel. Going into the table tennis, he did still do Cole Strat, but the slower version. And lastly was basketball. Instead of shooting the ball, he actually traveled every shot, which lost him some time, but since his first 2 sports were so great, he was still able to save some time. Next, we get to see Nyanto in the 5:25, where we finally get to see the optimal route used for the first time in a world record, by doing basketball first, although he did get 2 extra points. With speed slice next, we can see how his specialty is in this sport, going against the highest level we've seen so far, with George, our 134 leveled me, which Neon gets a perfect match against with no pause buffering. Next up, he does table tennis, but he still does the slower version of Cole Strat, but because of his speed slice, he was still way ahead. Duel being last, Fumiko blocks him only once, which gives him a fast duel, which gets him the record. For the last time in this category, Commander comes back with a 5:22, done on May 24th, 2020, in which he still does speed slice first, going against Ryan and winning perfectly. Next was basketball. He had 2 points given up to Elisa, in which he tied with her very quickly, but then he scored a buzzer beater to get back in the lead and leaves basketball as soon as it goes into the net. He goes into table tennis, which he only does the faster Cole strat on 1 point, but it was still pretty fast, and going on to the last sport, duel. He got a perfect duel with 0 blocks, ending his run within a great time. Next, on August 30th, 2020, which he only beat the record by 1 second, he did the games in order until which he did table tennis third. And then Benders got faster Cole strat on all 4 times he served, which saved him that second. He did basketball last, in which he was the first world record which did not get any extra points, only getting up 2. Next, we have Toad 3007's record with a 518, achieved on October 20th, 2020. In this record, he does basketball first, and gets a great basketball where his points were only a buzzer beater at the very end, not getting any extra points, and leaving basketball to go to speed slice. His speed slice was good, getting a perfect game against Ryan, but then he goes into duel. In duel, he goes against Ryan, which is slower than going against Famiko, but he did have a slow swinging speed, and he get blocked once, but it was still a pretty fast duel. Last one was table tennis, in which he did not get any double table bounces, but still a pretty fast match, getting him his time. Finally, where the world record stands today, we have a 5:15 done on January 5th, 2022, by Benders once and for all. In this run, we see him do duel first against Ryan, not getting any blocks, and heading into basketball. A very good pace. In basketball, he gets his 2-pointer as soon as the game starts, and blocks and drops the ball until the game is over, leaving basketball to head into speed slice. In speed slice, he plays against Famiko, and gets a fast perfect game, and goes into the last sport, table tennis. Table tennis, the only mistake he made was missing 2 table bounces and finishing the run, where the record stands today. This speedrun can be very optimized and very fast, as you've seen here, but no one really knows the potential of this speedrun. Not many people have ran it, and that have not been that many records. And once you see this video, maybe you'll become one of the people to optimize this run and finally get the record back and put yourself in the history books.